All right, hi everybody, and welcome to our virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina students. It is sponsored by CACRAO, our Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, and StriveScan. So I'm going to go through just a couple of housekeeping items. So first, you can make sure to use the Q&A button to type any questions that you have for your presenters at any time. You are muted and your video is turned off, so our presenters and panelists can't hear or see you throughout the session. This is just one of many of our college presentations being offered, so you can check out the full schedule at www.cacrao.org or CACRAO.org. And then finally, all of these sessions are being recorded and will be available on our website at www.cacrao.org. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and share a screen and then we'll get started. All right, well, welcome everybody. My name is Kayla Cherry and I serve as the Associate Director of First Year Admissions at Wingate University. Wingate is right about 35 miles southeast of Charlotte, North Carolina, so not too far away from the city, but outside of the city. We're excited to share a little bit with you guys. We'll give you guys some information just about student life in general, academics, scholarships as well. You'll kind of get to hear a little bit about the whole process. On the call with us today, we also have a current student, which is one of our tour guides, Allison Kite, who will be able to be here to answer some questions, talk about things from her perspective a little bit. So Allison, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Allison Kite. I am a senior at Wingate University. My major is math business with a minor in biology. I am very involved throughout campus, so I'm excited to kind of share a little bit about that as well. And I am also a student athlete on campus, so I kind of have like the best of both worlds to share with y'all today.
Awesome. We are going to start with a quick video so you guys can see a little bit about campus. You can kind of get a feel for what we're talking about. So we'll go ahead and start there. All right, so this is a quote by our president, Dr. Rhett Brown, and we think that this quote is just as true today as it was when he was a student on campus in the late 80s. So Dr. Brown actually came to Wingate as a first-generation college student as well as a transfer student. And when he completed his degree at Wingate, he went on to hold a few different positions on campus, one of which being vice president for enrollment management, and then now obviously, like I just mentioned, our president. Under his guidance and leadership, we've actually grown to be one of the fastest growing universities in the state of North Carolina. So definitely something that we are very proud of. He's very much a people person. He wants to hear from students, kind of hear what their likes and dislikes are, what they want to see on campus, any necessary changes, and I think that's really attributed to a lot of our growth. But when we talk about growth, we also like to maintain our small class size numbers. That's what we can talk a little bit about here. Our total enrollment, which includes our undergraduate population as well as our graduate, our master's and doctorate program students, sit right below 3,700 students. And that's a 23% increase since 2013. our undergraduate population sits right under 2,800 students, which is about a 36% increase since 2013 as well. So it's cool to see that in a relatively short amount of time that our student population has just grown. You know, the name is out there, students really like Wingate and want to attend. But like I previously mentioned, we still want to maintain that smaller class size. That's something that I think Wingate does a really good job of, that we really pride ourselves on. I think Allison would agree. And I was a student as well a couple years ago, and just loved the average class size being about 21. Your professors really get to know you. They kind of know what your end goal is, what you're interested in studying. They kind of know what makes you do well in the classroom, what you might struggle with, so they can kind of help encourage and push you in both ways, just because you're going to get a lot of that one-on-one attention. Same thing with our student-faculty ratio with that one-on-one attention. It's roughly 17-1. So they're really going to get to know you by your name. You're not going to feel like a number in the classroom. And they really do a good job of just investing their time in you and setting you up for success. So definitely something that I think Wingate does a really good job of. And perhaps one of the reasons too that we have grown so much in popularity is that we are the #1 healthcare educator in Western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina. So we offer programs in pharmacy, physician assistant, physical therapy, occupational therapy, as well as nursing. So if you're interested in health sciences, you're definitely in good hands. But we also have different majors across the board for students who are of all different interests. So we actually have 36 majors. Some of our most popular ones right now are psychology, biology, nursing, management, and criminal justice. Other than that, they range everywhere from accounting all the way to, you know, sport management and everything in between. We actually just added our 36th major this year, which we're super excited about. We added a major in public health. So a long time ago, Dr. Brown was asked, you know, what makes Wingate stand apart? A lot of small schools can say small class sizes and attention, which is absolutely wonderful, but I think his answer was really cool. He said that we offer relevant degrees, and that's something that we see this year, you know, in the midst of a world pandemic, that we're able to add a degree in public health. And so we started that as an undergraduate degree as well as a master's degree. Allison, do you want to touch a little bit just about choosing majors? I know that can be a stressful part when you're starting to think about that in high school, and kind of how you came to what you're studying and what you plan to do.
Yeah, so actually as a freshman coming into Wingate, I declared my major early coming in, which you don't have to do as you attend Wingate. You can come in undecided and then figure it out as you go along, as long as you declare by like junior year roughly. So I came in as a biochem double major, and shortly after taking a few classes realized, you know, this is not the major for me. This is not exactly what I want to be doing with my life and time, and I just didn't love it as much as I thought I would. I was very confused because I thought, you know, my end goal was becoming a physical therapist, and I had to, you know, major in a health science. I had to major in some sort of biology or chemistry in order to meet those, I guess, prerequisites in order to get to DPT school. I met with one of the faculty advisors that we have here on campus, which every student gets coming in, whether you're decided with your major or undecided. And she told me, look, you know, you don't necessarily need to major in biology in order to, you know, have those prerequisites in order to get to doctoral of physical therapy. You can major in something completely different. So I actually changed my major 4 separate times, taking classes kind of all over the place, trying to find what I truly loved. And junior year, I found that I loved math. I paired that with business to declare my major in math business at Wingate. And then I paired that underneath with a minor in biology. That minor is, you know, just allowing me to select the classes that I truly enjoy taking and be able to fulfill those prerequisites in order to get and apply for doctoral physical therapy school. So I always tell students coming in, you know, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do, or you know what you want to do and you change along the way. Wingate is extremely helpful and has so many resources available to students to help them kind of steer them on the right direction and path that they want to go.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, so good. Yeah, I know it can be stressful, but don't let that weigh you down too much. There's definitely resources in place to help you make those decisions. And then in addition to the 36 majors, we also offer 38 minors and 10 pre-professional programs. So our minors range everywhere from women's and gender studies all the way to art, And our pre-professional programs are going to be things like pre-vet, pre-med, pre-law, any of those master's or doctorate level programs that you would need a bachelor's degree of prerequisite courses first. We can offer about 10 of those in the form of pre-professional programs. We've already mentioned a good amount of time saying resources on campus. So if you're wondering what exactly that means or what types of ones we have on campus, we have an academic resource center, which we call the ARC. It is located right in our library, which is the center of campus. So it's very accessible to get there for all of our students. And within the Academic Resource Center, we have our peer tutoring office, as well as our disability support services and our writing center. So one of the most populated offices and popular ones to go to is our peer tutoring. I'll let Allison touch on this in just a little bit. To give you an overview, we have over 100 student tutors, for all sorts of a variety of classes on campus. And these students have already taken the class that they are tutoring. They've received an A or a B in the class, and then they've been signed off by their professor that they're eligible to tutor. So you know you're in good hands when you go there. Completely free for you as the student to use. It's a really great opportunity to freshen up before a test, or maybe, just to have some additional help throughout it. Biology was never my strong suit, so that's what I utilized the peer tutoring for. It might be something completely different for you, but there's lots of things there available for you just to really, maintain your good grades and stay ahead in the classroom. We're with Writing Center as well. You can take your different lab reports, you can take research papers, things like that. They'll kind of make some edits and suggestions and really help you along the way before you turn that in. You'll hear a lot, I'm sure, about core curriculum when you're applying to different colleges. A lot of colleges offer a core, but some might have a little bit of a twist. So our core curriculum is a basic set of classes between English and PE, things like that. And every student will take the core regardless of what major you decide. Our core teaches you what we call power skills. So we think power skills are things like problem solving, critical thinking, and writing. And you really get a lot of practice in those areas within the core curriculum. But we also have a few classes that are unique to Wingate, and they're called global perspectives. So that's sort of our twist on the core. Our global perspective courses are going to offer you just a worldly view on specific topics. And so we want you to learn about the culturally diverse world that we live in. So some of those topics would include things like world history, world religion, ethics. Those are about 3 of the 6, but those are unique to Wingate. So I think a lot of our students really enjoy those, and it just kind of helps you get kind of more of that well-rounded education outside of your major. So Allison, do you want to touch a little bit on your experience maybe in the Academic Resource Center?
Yeah, so actually throughout my 4 years, I've used the ARC a lot. So I've used it and utilized the Writing Center, the free peer tutoring center, as well as our disability center. So, with those tutors, just like Kayla said, like they are so good, very helpful. I'm more of a tactile learner, and I'm also a visual learner. For a few of my different classes, biology I'm more hands-on versus like English, I need to hear it, I need to be able to read it a few times. So they definitely can steer different tutoring sessions off of the classes that you're taking. They're also great because, they've had your professor before, so they know exactly how they're going to test. Typically they have a relationship with that professor, so they're going to say, hey, Allison Kite came by the Writing Center, came by tutoring, and I've been working with her on this. And they might ask even the professor, hey, do you have any tips or hints? And it's always a constant, I guess, circle of connections and relationships. So everyone kind of knows everyone's business here, and that extra effort that you're going to the tutoring center, going to the Writing Center, goes a long way here at Wingate, because professors know if they are invested in you and you're invested within their class, that you're going to go and succeed and do whatever you would like here at Wingate University.
And they truly do want you to succeed. I think you'll hear that common theme between both of us. So if you're initiating, going to tutoring, going to the Writing Center, just like Allison said, they're going to be more than willing with open arms to help with anything that you need. So you'll also hear a lot about difference-making experiences or experiential learning when you're on campus. Essentially, experiential learning is getting you out of the classroom, kind of seeing the world for yourself, getting some experience under your belt, really just seeing what you learn in the classroom in a much bigger realm. These are a few of our options. They're not all of them. Wingate does a really good job of kind of making new opportunities for students throughout the year. So these are just some of our most popular ones that we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about today. So Winter National, as it is right now, we have no idea what it will look like in the future, you know, with any changes or anything like that. But Winter National is one of our most popular programs. So about 53% of our juniors participate each year. So you do have to wait until you're a junior standing, but it kind of gives you something, you know, really fun to look forward to. And essentially what it is, it stands for Wingate International, and it combines a classroom component along with an international study abroad component. So your sophomore year, Wingate would release a set of countries, typically 6 or 7 or so are on the list. Each country has a specific topic of study as well. So you would choose which country you would like to travel to with the topic of study. You would sign up for that class, and then come your junior year, you would take a 1-semester class on that country and topic. So you learn all about the country, the culture, the food, the language, the museums, you know, everything that you'd want to know before traveling. When that semester concludes, you actually travel to that country for 10 days. You go with your professor that taught the class, as well as your classmates that were in the class with you. And when you get off that plane, you're already familiar with where you're going, which is a really nice part. It kind of makes it a little bit more comforting. So you get to go see everything that you learned about when you were at Wingate. It's a really, really cool experience. Our students love it. I think it's life-changing for a lot of people. And the class that you take on campus does give you credits toward graduation as well. So really cool experience. Not a requirement. If you're not interested in traveling abroad, that's okay. We offer Wingate, which is also another travel opportunity, but domestically within the US. And you can actually participate in Wingate as a sophomore. These topics are a little bit more service-based. And so you would still take a class, you know, for about a semester or so on campus, and then travel for about a week domestically within the US afterward. If you want to do research with faculty, if there's a specific, you know, topic within your major you want to dig a little bit deeper into, you can do that under the advisement of a faculty member. And then when that concludes, you can actually present your research to a group on campus. I think that's always a really cool experience, you know, getting in front of people, talking about something you're passionate about. That can go a long way. Internships, a lot of our majors require them. If yours does not, you'll probably hear a lot about them, just as they're very encouraged. Lots of value can come from internships. It can open a lot of doors, whether that be networking, you know, maybe a job after graduation, or really just showing you that you're in the correct major, that you're where you want to be, you're passionate about what you're doing. Or on the flip side, it can also be helpful in showing you that, you know, maybe this is what you want to do, but get your feet wet in a little bit of other areas as well. So there's value that can come from both sides of an internship. And then lastly, service opportunities. So service is part of our motto, which is faith, knowledge, and service. So we definitely hold it to high regard on campus, whether you're serving other students, staff, and faculty members, or maybe you're doing an alternative Christmas break. So the first week of your Christmas break, you're delivering jackets to families in need that don't have jackets, or hurricane cleanup. You know, a lot of the time is whatever's going on in the country is what opportunities will arise for students to serve. So lots of opportunities there. Allison, I know you have some experience here as well. Would you like to touch on that?
Yeah, I'll try to be brief because I can only say so much.
It's hard to be.
But,
this is a good slide.
Yeah, exactly. So I had the option and experience, or I guess I had the opportunity to experience Winter National. So I took a 10-day trip to Costa Rica, I guess almost a year ago. Kind of scary that the time is flying by. And I went to Costa Rica for 10 days. I studied conservation, and so basically what happens, I went to a class once a week that was 2 credits. After the semester was over, I flew to that country for 10 days. I went to 5 different cities within Costa Rica. I stayed with a host family, and then we moved cities kind of it depends, 1 to 2 days, depending on what we were doing in that city. And it was really cool because I always like to tell people, like, I didn't pick the place because of, you know, the topic that we were studying. I'm a math major and I'm studying conservation. They don't have to go hand in hand. You can pick a place or Winter National trip based off of the trip and the place that you're going, so the location. You can pick it off of the friends and people that you know might be, you know, have similar interests, or you can, you know, pick the experience and trip based off of, you know, what you're studying. And there's always a variety of topics. So last Winter National, We had places going to Peru, Argentina, there's been Greece, the Netherlands, Switzerland. There has been, I know a few years ago, Japan, China. So literally any country that you're, might be looking, or might be interested in, Wingate has definitely gone there and has experienced it. The trips vary from at a max of $1,500 to as lowest as $400. And those trips, include your round trip ticket, the activities that you do there, majority of your meals, so like 75% of your meals, and the activities that you do. So within Costa Rica, I had the opportunity to go whitewater rafting, zip lining, horseback riding, see how chocolate was made, go on night tours to look at scorpions and snakes and all these animals, as well as a bunch of other different activities. And that was all included in my price of $1,400. It's definitely a life-changing experience. I never had the opportunity to really travel outside of my hometown, right outside of DC, to Wingate, which is right near Charlotte. So going out of the country was something new to me, but Wingate made it so easy, so affordable, and a very fun experience that now I really just want to travel. So I thank Wingate to, kind of opening up my eyes and seeing like something that I really enjoy doing. Service opportunities is something also I'm very passionate about. Wingate has a day in the spring called One Day, One Dog. And basically it's a day where you have no school, no anything. We shut down for a day. Well, not shut down, but you have no class for a day, excuse me. And everyone comes out to our promenade, which is our main strip on campus, and there'll be a bunch of tents and tables set up. And it's a time where you will sign up for a service activity, and then you will go out and experience that and give back to the local community. Once the service project is complete, you'll come back out to that promenade and you'll be able to celebrate with all the undergraduate students, as well as anyone within the community. Faculty and professors will also come out as well and give back. It's a day of service that I particularly love, but also if you want to continue that and do it yearly, Wingate has so many clubs and organizations for you to sign up for to continue giving back. I know there was a question in the chat asking if I went to Costa Rica alone or with another Wingate student. Actually, you travel as a class. So my class that I took, so you have a semester-long class, which is studying your topic, and then that class with your professor and some sort of school administration will go with you. So I went with about 20 other students, one professor, and another school administration person came along with us. So there was about, I think in total, 25 people traveling, and everything is booked under the same plane ticket, same reservations for hotels, and you stick together as a class and you move around. So it's totally safe, so much fun, and you get to experience with other people too that you end up growing really close with.
Awesome, thank you. So Allison just touched too that we have a ton of clubs and organizations, which is a great leadway into this next topic. So just life as a Bulldog, what would your life as a student look like? What would you be able to do day to day? And the answer to that is everything and a lot of things. So we have everything from campus recreation all the way to Greek life, and then over 100 clubs and organizations in between. Campus recreation is definitely popular on campus. We had about 700 students participate in some sort of team sport through their program and intramurals last year. We have 8 Greek organizations, if that's something of interest to you on campus as well. And then the 100, in between, we have everything from club or major-based clubs to hobby-based, interest-based, academic-based, and even professional-based. So we always challenge students to go find something that maybe we don't have that you have interest in. I think it's going to be very difficult to find something that we don't have that you would have fun doing. But if so, you can actually start a club on campus as well. So you and 4 other classmates and a faculty advisor can sort of present that to Student Life, why you think we should have that club, and get it added to that list. Something that I loved being a part of, Student Government Association as well as Greek Life. It's a very good outlet from your academics, and so sometimes you just want to hang out with your friends and have those social events, and that's what those club and organizations are there for. But what I didn't realize when I got involved was I was going to get a lot of professional development within it as well. So things like practice public speaking or networking events or holding leadership positions, that I may not have held otherwise. Those are all opportunities that you get from being involved as well. But then, like I said, you also get that outlet from your academics. It's a great built-in friendship group. I think that we really encourage students to get involved as early as possible. Don't put too much on your plate if you don't want to at one time, but by getting involved early on, you think your passion for the school grows. You just get out of your comfort zone a little bit because you get to know a lot of different people and everything along those lines. So coming from current student herself, Allison, do you want to talk a little bit just about involvement, maybe what you do on campus?
Yeah, so I'll kind of reiterate a little bit of what Kayla said. Getting involved is definitely the key piece at Wingate. It makes your college experience, and it turns you into the person and grows you into the person that you will become and who you want to become. I coming in, I was like, oh, I'm a student athlete. Like, I don't need to join any clubs or organizations. I'm just gonna stay with my little niche, and that was okay for my freshman year. I was just kind of going through the motions, going to practice, coming back, and that was the group that I wanted to kind of associate myself with at the time. It all started for me getting a campus job. I became a tour guide my junior year, and that's when everything kind of took off for me. It was almost like a snowball effect. Once I became a tour guide, I obviously was earning a little bit of income. I started meeting new people. I started meeting people within my major, within other majors. I started being able to develop relationships and, professional skills like Kayla was mentioning about public speaking. And, actually before becoming a tour guide, I was actually very introverted, which is kind of funny. And I'm laughing because I'm probably the first person in the room that would probably greet you if you came to Wingate and be very excited and, being very outgoing. And that's just how, being involved just kind of turned me into a person. But anyways, it is like a snowball effect. You start, working in one department, and then you become a peer mentor, and then you become a peer tutor. And then, now you're doing this for the marketing team or this for social media. And now you have all these friends. You also start building networking connections, and then that leads to you to an internship or to a job. Wingate is it's a small knit community, but is very large with the connections that every person has. And that's what you should be looking for when you're looking, at a university, at a college is, are they going to be able to help me, be able to get a job after college? And through the resources, the connections, and the networking here at Wingate, I know 100% I will be able to do that. I've already been talking to people through our career services department, which have put me in touch with alumni with my same major, and to show them, hey, look, this is what they're doing now with their degree and what you can do. So like I said, whether your involvement is through a club or organization, through, maybe a work study opportunity here, or through athletics, Wingate definitely has a wide variety for students to get involved in. And I do highly stress that's something that, looking back on my 4 years, I wish I could have said from freshman year, I have been involved, and because I just know that I would be, 20 times better than who I am right now. And I would just be, my freshman year would have looked so different, and I would have fell in love with Wingate a lot sooner instead of just going through the motions my freshman year. So that's something that I definitely kind of always like to stress the students, coming into Wingate, is to get involved.
Yeah, that's great advice. And the last thing that we like to talk about when it comes to student life and just, excitement on campus and vibrancy on campus is our athletics department. So this is a really big part of campus, which I think a lot of our students really enjoy. I think part of the reason why the excitement and school spirit around our athletics department is just because we've had such a successful program for so many years. All athletic events on campus are free for you as the student to attend. So you have the opportunity to go to as many athletic events as you'd like throughout your 4 years here. Wingate does a really good job of making it super, fun, and just some different incentives and interactive and things like that. They might have a gold out where they hand out gold t-shirts to all the students, and so the stands are filled with gold. Or my personal favorite, free donut night. And, the first 300 students get a free donut. They have halftime games, everything like that. So they're really, really fun. And just talking a little bit about how competitive our conference is and how competitive our athletes are. We have won our Athletic Excellence Award within our conference for the past 13 consecutive years. We compete in the South Atlantic Conference, and what that is they take all the teams in the conference, they add up all the wins, all the championships, all the tournament appearances, and everything like that. And then they determine who has the most. And Wingate has had the most wins, championships, everything along those lines for 13 years in a row. So I think that's really what brings a lot of our students to those games and all that excitement. Unfortunately, obviously had to cancel our spring sports this past season, but we were definitely on track to win our 14th in a row, as our previous fall and winter sports had tremendously successful seasons. Our athletes are not only super competitive and dedicated on the field or in their court, in their arena, but also very dedicated in the classroom, which is something that we are super proud of, obviously, as they are a student athlete. So right now, or since the year 2000, we produced the most academic All-Americas in all of NCAA Division II. So that's all D2 schools across the country. And currently, we have more academic All-Americas than any university in the state of North Carolina, regardless of division. So we like to, point out the well-known schools that we have more than schools like UNC Chapel Hill, as well as Duke. And the reason we like to point that out is just to show you, truly how we hold our academics to high standard on campus, and that our athletes are pursuing that and doing a really great job. And just to, sort of wrap this up for the slide, we have 23 Division II teams. So we just added our 23rd, which is women's triathlon. So we're excited to get that started. Allison, you want to talk a little bit just about athletics and what it brings to campus?
Yeah, it is a very vibrant environment, just like Kayla said. I mean, I guess I'm a little biased because I am a student athlete, but something that I love is that, going to my sporting event or going to other students' sporting events, you'll see so many people there, whether that be the professor that you had class with or past professor. They also love to email you, whether that is regarding athletics, like maybe your game, or maybe you did really well in your game. Or if you're not an athlete and, athletics is not for you, that's perfectly fine. That same, vibrancy and that same support that is shown to the athletes through, maybe classmates or professors is also shown to people that, might not necessarily be interested in athletics. I do have a friend that is a non-athlete at Wingate, and her professor has emailed her, hey, I know that you were super stressed about this exam. I just wanted to say good luck. Or, hey, I know I heard you talking in class to Allison about your interview. I also wanted to say, let me know if you ever need a letter of recommendation, or let me know like how that went. I hope it goes really well. So the support goes both ways, but definitely in regarding athletics, Wingate is a very good Division II school, and their sporting events are definitely highly attended and very exciting. And I mean, you can just see my expression on my face. That's something that I'm missing obviously this semester, but I'm so excited that literally all of our sports will be in season next semester come spring. So Wingate is going to be the place to be. So hopefully you can come toward either this semester or next semester once all of our athletic events are in season.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that you guys have loved everything that you've heard so far, that you're just excited and ready to apply when the time comes. So we can look at the application process and then go over some scholarship information as well. So our application is open and live for any senior or any current seniors. Every year, our application opens around June after a student completes your junior year. So once you have all those grades, freshman through junior year, you would be eligible to submit an application. It's right on our website, wingate.edu, so it is not part of the common application. The application is free, which hopefully brings smiles to everybody. There's no essay required up front. There's a little caveat that we'll talk about in just a second. And test scores are now optional. So we realize that there have been a ton of barriers for our students recently with SATs and ACTs being canceled and school going online, and we want to just break down any barriers of making it any more harder to apply to colleges. So in order to do so, we have gone test optional. And then, so basically the caveat to the no essay is since we are test optional, if you do not have an SAT or ACT score to provide us, then we may just ask in lieu of that for a personal statement in an essay form. Typically we ask for 300 to 500 words about a topic of your choice, obviously include in there, why you'd like to attend Wingate, why you would be successful here. and we can accept that and base a decision off of your GPA and personal statement instead of your test scores. Once we have everything that we need in front of us, you'll get a quick 2-week decision turnaround time. So you're not going to be wondering, you know, how many months will it take checking your mail every day. You'll have that time frame in mind, and it gets there pretty quickly. As you can see here, Victor E. Bulldog, this is his acceptance letter. You can see kind of midway down that page his scholarship. That's called his academic scholarship. So when you're accepted, you're automatically awarded some sort of academic aid. And that academic aid is based off of your GPA and test score, or your GPA and personal statement. And those scholarships currently range up to $25,000 per year for up to 4 years of undergraduate studies. So really good incentive to continue to do well, continue to work hard, continue to succeed in high school, because that's definitely going to pay off in the form of scholarships. Even if you are accepted early on in the process, you know, and then you have a really great first semester or a great second semester, maybe you end up taking an SAT later on, you can always resubmit items to us after you've been accepted, and we'll always re-review it to see if we can increase that academic scholarship as well. So we are on your side. We want to be able to help as much as we can, and try to make it, you know, as easy of a process as possible. So Allison, do you want to touch a little bit on any, you know, advice you have for applying before we talk a little bit about additional scholarships?
Yeah. So as I applied, obviously I didn't have all these, I guess they're kind of nice. I wish I didn't have to, you know, submit a test score, but obviously that's because of the pandemic. But something I always tell students is, you know, for me, I submitted my SAT scores and I submitted my ACT, which, you know, Wingate does accept both. And my GPA. And something that was really nice is actually at the end of my senior year, I had a slightly higher GPA, and I retook my SAT, which was only an increase of 50 points, and I was actually put into the next tier of academic merit. So I was able to get an additional $2,000. So that was a really pretty nice email that I received going into, you know, my freshman year at Wingate. It was like, hey, we kind of reevaluated those transcripts, those SAT scores, and you actually were put into the next tier of academic scholarship. And so we wanted to let you know that this would be applied to your balance. And so I always tell students, never give up, keep persevering, and kind of pushing through that senior year, because, you know, $2,000 is $2,000. And if it's just $500, it's $500, but it's, you know, that money you don't have to pay back. And that's something that, you know, I value as a student now versus back then. Is, you know, it's also very nice that Wingate does stack scholarships, so it does make it very affordable for students to come here at very little cost.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll hear that from, I think, all students across the board, that they were definitely surprised at that. And we'll wrap up, you know, quickly with this. I think just going into that from what Allison was saying, that a common myth is that private schools are just, you know, super more expensive than public schools, and it's out of range, which we totally understand, but we want to kind of break that barrier and break that myth and show you guys kind of that breakdown. So this can be overwhelming, but and very broad, but please know that we are here to kind of give you guys the most individual attention when it comes to your financial aid. Once you apply and do some financial aid paperwork, we would be able to give you much more detailed information about this. As you can see on the phone, this is Victor E's kind of financial breakdown. The price right now is for 2020 that is listed on here. Tuition does typically increase a little bit each year. So for 2021, it'll be closer to about $50,000. That's our tuition and fees, room and board, our sticker cost. That's the big scary number. The better number to pay attention to is that most of our students living on campus pay between $11,000 to $19,000. So you're probably wondering, how in the world do I get it down from $50,000 to $11,000 to $19,000? Or if you're a local student living in the area and you're commuting from home, between $4,500 and $11,000. There's three branches, three ways to do that. First is your academic scholarship. So like we mentioned, they range up to $25,000 per year. And so say you were awarded $23,000, that would come off of that $50,000 right off the bat. So you already have it knocked down almost half. The second option is FAFSA. So the FAFSA opens October 1st of your senior year. And that is the free application for federal student aid. That will take into consideration some tax information and things like that to show you if you're eligible for any federal funding, which is more free money, which is exciting. And like Allison mentioned, stacking, we stack anything you're awarded federally on top of your academic scholarship. So from there, you might have 23,000 plus an additional 5,000, depending on eligibility, you know, or could be different than that. Lastly, we also honor outside scholarships through websites, vendors, companies. If you're left-handed, work for Chick-fil-A, attend a church that offers a scholarship, anything along those lines. So definitely keep an eye out for those outside scholarships, websites like College Board, scholarships.com, fastweb.com are a few good resources. But like I said, we'll be able to give you a very in-depth breakdown of what it would cost you to attend as well once you go through the process. So don't let that overwhelm you too much. And then that sort of wraps up our formal presentation, just to kind of give you guys an option. If you want to scan this QR code with your phone, it will just take you to a form where you can fill out some information like your name, email address, graduation date, so that we can send you the most appropriate up-to-date information as that comes along. So it looks like we have maybe another minute or two. Allison, were there any questions? Well, I'll leave the QR code up here for you guys for a few minutes and see if there's any questions.
No, there was no questions, but feel free to, you know, drop your questions down below. Obviously, I'm a student, so I have great, you know, perspectives to share with you guys. So no question is a silly question, so please feel free to ask.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, while you guys, if you think of any, I just wanted to mention that we are offering some on-campus tours now with limited capacity. So Monday through Fridays at 9, 11, 1, and 3 o'clock. And then we're also offering about 3 Saturdays per month through December at 11 and 1 o'clock. So if you guys would like to come see campus, definitely just register online. We do ask that you register ahead of time, you know, and come see campus for yourself, see in and out of some buildings. And then we'll also be offering some different virtual opportunities, especially coming up things like how to fill out the FAFSA, what is financial aid, everything like that. That will go a little bit more in depth. So we're excited to have you guys either come on campus or join us more virtually, but always can feel free to reach out to our office with any questions that you guys think of. Perfect. Well, if not, I can turn it back over to StriveScan to kind of wrap up.
You're still on mute. There you go.
Thank you. So I wanted to say a huge thank you to all of our presenters and participants for joining us today. Just as a quick housekeeping item for you all is that there is a quick survey that's going to pop up after we close this window. It's a 4-question survey, so please feel free to leave us any feedback in that survey. Please also make sure to sign up for any more sessions that you're interested in. You can check out the full schedule at www.cacrao.org. That's CACRAO.org. And then finally, the session is recorded. So since they're all recorded, you will see them all available on our website at CACRAO.org. And thank you so much for joining us.